In the first 3 months of 2007, it's estimated that more than 5,000 people have arrived on Yemen's shores. Most are refugees, although some are seeking a better life elsewhere. But whatever the case, the trip is a perilous one, and it's estimated that more than 350 people have lost their lives or are still missing so far this year. These Somalis had just arrived the day before in this very boat. They were some of the lucky ones. They paid $50 each to board this rickety boat and landed 36 hours later.
I was sitting over here during the journey. These are very brutal people. Many of us were beaten up. But luckily, we were able to land close to the beach. So everybody on my boat survived.
Usually more than 100 people are packed into these small boats, and for up to 3 days they brave the scorching sun without food or water. Some die on the way. A recent arrival saw more than 30 deaths, including this woman. She, like hundreds of others, is buried in the dunes along the beach. It's become a makeshift graveyard to lost hopes. The ruthless smugglers don't hesitate to beat or stab their passengers when the coast is in sight. But many can't swim, some are too weak, and there are also mothers carrying babies.
When we came close to the shore, we were forced to jump into the sea. We were extremely shocked when we discovered dead bodies on the beach.
If the boats get too close to the shore, they risk being shot at by the Yemeni forces who try to crack down on the smugglers. The Yemeni authorities say they abhor the tactics of the smugglers and have taken an active role in assisting their victims once they arrive ashore. They work in close collaboration with the UN Refugee Agency to bring the survivors to safety and offer medical care to those who need it.
The patient sits for about 36 or 40 hours in the boat in one position. And while he is in this position, he contaminates with seawater and urine. There is wounds due to biting, there is wounds due to beating, and also there is fracture of bones due to beating.
Somalis are given unconditional refugee status in Yemen. UNHCR attempts to reach all of the refugees who need assistance, but the locations of the landings changes week to week, and Yemen has over 700 kilometers of coastline. Some of the arrivals strike out on their own. Others are brought back to a reception center in Mafab for food, assistance, medical treatment, and registration. They are given basic help by UNHCR, but more support is needed. UNHCR tries to discourage others from risking their lives on this perilous journey.
It's a tragic situation on the seas, and that again is something that we can only work with the coast guards here, with the government, to see if we can make a difference to the way people are received so that they're not thrown overboard with their hands tied behind them so that they don't wash up as bodies on the beach.
Among those risking their lives are the youngest victims of the smuggling racket. The mother of 3-month-old John was trying to give him a safer life away from fighting in Somalia. She succeeded to bring her baby to Yemen, but the effort was too great. She was brought to the UNHCR clinic but died hours later. Her 2 orphans are now being cared for by a foster family in the camp.
For a Somali like me, it was natural to come to the aid of these children when they survived fleeing from Somalia and when their mother died.
Sadly, tragedies like this one are not uncommon. It's estimated that more than 1,000 people have lost their lives crossing over to Yemen in the last 3 years. But when asked if the voyage is worth the risk, most of the survivors will say they had no alternative. They would prefer dying trying to reach safety or a better life than to be killed in the war or from poverty.